My name is Brad Peak, and I am the team leader for Pine Ridge Refugee Sponsorship Program. For refugee assistance, I'm the team leader, so setting up the meetings, setting up the agenda, working with our partners to be able to identify and get a family here, and kind of organize the team to be able to receive and take care of a family. March of this year, I was contacted by Patchwork India, a private sponsor organization, asking if our team would like to apply for a new program through Community Sponsorship Hub. And we said yes. It was the only one that was still going after they suspended all of the other programs in February of this year. Fast forward to May, mid-May, late May, May 21st, they contacted us again, Community Sponsorship Hub, and let us know that there was a potential match for us, a family of 8. We were contacted yet again by Community Sponsorship Hub that travel itinerary had been set for the family of 8, who the family of 8 was and the members of the family, and that they would be arriving in 8 days. So very quickly, we had to get together, make the plans, find out where they were going to live, and put all of that together. That was all on us, and get the funding. Met them in the airport. They were exhausted because they had been traveling for 4 days. The last day, the last 21 hours they spent at O'Hare Airport. So it was, I think, extremely gratifying for them to finally be at a place that they could call home, at least for it. I would say that as soon as we got them to the new place, I noticed just this hub of activity. Debbie was busy entering their passport information in for benefits into her computer. People were showing them how to operate the stove and dishwasher. We were giving them a tour of the house as we were getting a tour at the same time, and determining where they were going to be able to get groceries. People had brought in food for them at that time. So immediately the team hit the ground running, taking care of this family.
So Debbie Folkedahl, and I contacted Brad when he started this over a year ago, I guess. And I was in Florida at the time, for the winter. And I said, Brad, I'm not going to be here, but I'll help you any way I can. And my area of expertise is Social Security. So I worked for Social Security for 40 some years. So I said, if they need help with that, I can do that.
Hi, I'm Lisa Umacher, and I was lucky enough to work with our refugee settlement team. More specifically, I helped in job search and also filling out forms and explaining interesting concepts like credit checks and background checks and pronouns and why we need to disclose whether we've ever been disabled or a veteran.
I'm Eloise Dance, and I worked with Abu Bakr, the 19-year-old, and we worked on, he has a basic English vocabulary, but we worked on specifically food industry because that's the job he was looking forward to, and he come as a pastry chef.
Jenny Labine, and I worked in teaching English.
My name is Janie Peak, and I would say predominantly I was the interface between the schools and the Habibi family for their children.
I'm Claudia Ellerman, and when I started volunteering for the Refugee project, I first signed up for teaching English because I've been teaching English to refugees for years now. And it quickly became so much more than that, and that was fun.
There are many moments in this whole experiment that I felt joy, the presence of God, in ways that seemed to be divine. One of the very first ones was shortly after the family came here. One of my lingering concerns was addressed just out of the blue. I got a call from Michelle Manuel, who had coincidentally bumped into somebody from the team in a social setting, heard about our situation, and determined that she lived very, very close to where we had ultimately found transitional housing for the family. So she called me up and said, "Hey, I live 6 minutes away." And all of a sudden, this amazing relief came over me, because one of the big concerns is the only house that we could find that would accommodate 8 people was 30 minutes away in Liberty. And how are we going to be able to check in on this family on a regular basis?
One of the things that we did was on a Sunday afternoon, Michelle and Jim and I arranged to take them to the big, huge, big playground area at at Hodge Park, that's right off of 96th Street. So it's has a huge climbing thing and a zip line and slides and place for them to play soccer and just all sorts of stuff. And we had given them a soccer ball that we had, because the boys, we figured, play soccer, it's universal. But the thing that surprised us was that the kids didn't seem to know what this was or what to do with this space. And it took about 15 or 20 minutes of Jim and Michelle kind of coaxing them to do things before they figured out what this playground was. They had never seen a playground before. And then once they figured out that this is for us just to run and play and be wild, and look, this slide is so much fun. And the little Mohammed, the 2-year-old Mohammed, once he figured out that slide, there was no stopping him.
I took the parents to language classes at Green Hills Library to the second and the third time I think that they went. The last 2 times they went. And the first time it was just kind of formal and there was no chatter or anything because there was a language barrier. Second time I took them, the first time I took them, I pull into the parking lot and then another lady gets out of the car and walks toward the library, and Shamsula said, "She's in my class." Whoa. And then the next time, Bibu Manessa sat next to me in the car and we're driving, and you know how lush and green everything is right now. She goes, "Everything is so green. It's so green. It's beautiful, just beautiful." They got their library cards the first time I took them. And it was like, I don't know, you know how you are when a kid, like, "I'm official," They both got their library cards and they didn't want to shop for any books to check out at that moment in time. But then the next time I took them, we knew that they were going to be leaving us. And they carefully brought the cards back to the librarian, which they didn't need to do. But it was so sad, but it was joyful when they got the cards.
The goodbye dinner that the family, Shamsula prepared it all, had for us was incredible. And what they did for the 10 of us, I think, that were able to go was, it was just wonderful and showed what a warm heart that he and the whole family had toward us.
Early on, the team started to hear things that made us curious about their visa status. We knew from Community Sponsor Hub that this family and all of the families brought in on this program were brought in under special immigrant visas, which allowed them instant access to benefits as they were getting up to speed, getting jobs, etc.
We met with them, and it was Shamshula and Abu Baker and I. And Adam, and then Syed came in. And so they asked, do you have the visas and the passports? And we're like, yes. And Abu Baker gave them all there. And Syed opened them up, and he looked up and he looked at Adam and he goes, no. And I'm like, what? And he said, this is a diversity visa. This is not an SIV. And that was the confirmation. They had looked at both. And at some point, they had the paperwork for the special immigrant visa, but they never completed it. And somehow they got into Sponsorship Hub's database, and no one caught it after that. And yeah, it was at a much higher level. I mean, and they didn't do anything wrong. We didn't do anything wrong. And I don't think the people at Sponsorship Hub did anything wrong. It was just a mistake.
After a time and a lot of research, Community Sponsor Hub identified an opportunity with an organization in California that specialized in Afghan refugees and had housing, medical assistance through the California Medi-Cal program, cash assistance, job opportunities, and a community of other Afghans that could kind of take our place as the sponsors for this wonderful family. And so we started about the task of getting them organized and getting them to California so that they could begin their life there. And that was another great thing to see the team overnight change all of our actions to be able to help them get to a new place. Sometimes our job isn't to finish the job, but to get them to the next place so they can be successful. And I think that's what we did.
The team who worked with this family and the volunteers and the extended team all had the most amazing gifts to share. Debbie was able to navigate the hideously complicated Social Security and immigration system because of her background. We were so lucky to have her here. Claudia and David were so generous and kind to be able to help navigate through the medical questions that we had, provide a phone. Anytime that we needed something for this family, magically or potentially but with God's providence, that person with those skills showed up. And the amount that we accomplished in that short period of time with this family has set them on an amazing journey in California for the next phase of their life. This little group of scrappy volunteers in the Midwest.
I learned a lot about myself. They say courage is not a thing that you have in you and you keep for a time that you're going to need it, and then you determine if you have it at that time. When we started this idea, I was really unsure if what it would take, how we would approach it, and what it would look like. And would I be able to effectively make this happen for a family that really needs good, solid, technical leadership and help? And what I found through the process is it really wasn't about me at all. It was about the ability of this team to come together.
I learned not to be afraid of getting in over my head, which is kind of why I probably held back a little bit, because I thought, am I really qualified
to do this, to be here, to try to help these people. What if I make a mistake? It could be disaster. My life was better because I think they really underscored a sense of purpose. I feel that sense of purpose anyway, working with the children that I work with every day. But this was a sense of purpose on steroids because they really did depend on us.
This beautiful family was here for 48 days. And the changes that I saw in the people that sponsored them were just as dramatic in the changes that I saw in the family. I feel like this was a transformative experience for everyone. We got to know each other in ways that you don't by just going to church together. I think what we've proven to ourselves is no matter what the obstacle is, we will be able to do it. We encountered so many potential obstacles that this team just amazingly was able to overcome, that I feel like we should be able to make a real dent and really help a family or families in the future. I think that this kind of hospitality and help that we can provide for others, that we have found we can do pretty well, we should be thinking about how we use that in our everyday lives. An opportunity presents itself. We rise to the occasion. Well, I hope everyone at Pine Ridge knows that we have felt your prayers in action, that your, whether you gave money, whether you prayed, helped out in any way, provided food, worked in the gardens, even just emotional support for all of us and for the family, how important that was. There was a list of 45 people from this church that were interested in helping. To me, that says a lot. And I think everybody at Pine Ridge should be heartened by that.
I think if the opportunity arises, just get involved. Whether it's preparing a meal, whether it's taking someone to Aldi, whether it's helping with some household items that might be required for a family to furnish an extra bedroom, whatever that little moment might be, if you are called, it doesn't have to be a check. It can be your time. I learned so much from this family about gratitude, about resilience, about bravery. I think that's the gift that you're gonna get so much more than you give.
Since these interviews were recorded, the Habibi family has moved to California and is thriving. Their children are in school, and the family is settling into their new home. Members of the Pine Ridge Refugee Assistance Team remain in contact with the family and continue to provide them assistance and love, even from half a country away. The current state of affairs makes the future of the Pine Ridge Refugee Assistance Program uncertain. Since the start of 2025, nearly all federal and state funding for refugee programs in Missouri has been eliminated. Amid this new reality, our team is refocusing on how we can best show love and welcome to those refugees already living in our community.